Good evening, welcome into StoveTop-Garage. Tonight we're going to be making some pumpkin cookies with a cream cheese filling with a sugar and cinnamon coating that'll have a cream cheese drizzle on top of it or glaze on top of it after we're done. So we're going to start off by working on our filling because it's got to go in the freezer before we get started with the cookies. Here we go. We got our bowl. We got our cream cheese. It's been softened. It's been sitting out. It is room temperature. We have some sour cream. And the sour cream is kind of taking place of the eggs. And the reason why there's no eggs in this is because this portion, it's basically because this way we don't have to worry about how well it's actually being baked, and if it's a little underbaked, it's okay. So it's supposed to be a little bit safer, just use the sour cream as opposed to, and it gives it a softer, creamier texture. That's just about ready. And in a small baking tray, or any flat tray for that matter, let's see if we got, take our melon scoop, small one, and roll these out so we have a fairly consistent size to put into our cookies once their batter's ready. But to get to that point, we need to freeze these. And if you guys have watched my biscuits in the gravy, it's kind of where these ideas come from. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, let's try that. Looks like we'll have a baker's dozen here. Maybe I could have had a couple extra if I wouldn't have got so heavy-handed with the scoops. Maybe that one will just be a little bit small. Anyway, this is just an experiment to see how this recipe turns out. So, but the ingredients say it'll turn out great. All right, those 14 scoops of cream cheese are going into the freezer for at least a half an hour to get it to firm up so we can put them in the cookies once we get started with those. Here's a step of this portion that is kind of necessary. We want to take as much moisture out of the pumpkin as possible. And we're going to do that by patting it dry with paper towels. And this is how we do that. Just see, getting the moisture out. That's all we're doing. Because by extracting as much moisture as possible without going overboard, because it doesn't need to be crunchy and dry, it just needs to be drier than it is. But by leaving that extra moisture in there, it takes away from the pumpkin flavor in the cookies. So we want the maximum amount of flavor, so we just extract some of the extra moisture so that we have more flavor and less moisture. Because we also need these to be fairly stiff to incorporate the moisture that comes in from the cream cheese. So we now have a more acceptable volume. See, it's drier now. More acceptable volume of moisture in our pumpkin. And you don't want pumpkin pie filling. You want pumpkin puree or natural 100% pumpkin. It's because the pumpkin pie filling has other ingredients added into it that we currently have over here. So if you go that route, you can forego some of these other ingredients that we have, such as the pumpkin pie spice that we made. Okay, so that is just about ready. Over here, we're going to take our flour, combine it with our baking soda and our baking powder and our salt. Give that a quick whisk so it's ready for when we get our wet ingredients mixed over here in our mixer. Then we'll combine this a couple of cups at a time so we don't get a bunch of lumps in our wet ingredients. Probably 2 or 3 cups, and then I add another 2 or 3 cups. Continue on that until we get it all combined. We'll start here with our butter. That's 1 cup of melted butter, slightly cooled. You don't want your butter hot, because that's going to cook the rest of your ingredients, such as your eggs, and that's not something you want to do. Pumpkin. Our homemade allspice, our vanilla, our eggs, egg yolks. No whites in this recipe, because the whites give it a different texture that we're not going for. So to keep the texture along the lines of which we want. Now our sugar. Brown sugar. Which one of these do I want to use? So here we go with our flour. Let's go ahead and stop that. That didn't work out like the drawing showed. I think now that our batter is thickening, we're going to change from the whisk be right back. And here we go with another scoop. That looks to be the consistency that we're looking for. Certainly smells good. Yeah, that'll do. Probably could have used the dough hook just as well. Anyway, job is done. Now we get to put it on the pan. So before we put these cookies into the pan, we gotta have our topping for our cookies, which is sugar and cinnamon. And we just gotta mix that together. So when we get through forming our cookies, we will have the cinnamon to roll them in. There we go. So now we need our scoop. This is a larger scoop than what we used for the filling. This is supposed to be 2 scoops this size. Each cookie will be 2 scoops. It seems awfully large. Well, let's see. Now we have our cookies separated out into 14 equal portions, or semi-equal. And now we get our filling out of the freezer. Now we start filling our cookies. Take it, roll it. Make a hole with your thumb. Drop your filling inside. And then into the sugar and cinnamon. there's one. I'm not going to do all 14 of these on camera, so we will take and show you a couple of them, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera in the interest of time. Oh, these smell amazing. There we go. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. And there we have it. We finished making all the cookies, and now they are ready to go in our 350-degree oven for 11 minutes. And then while they're in the oven, we'll throw our glaze together, so after they come out of the oven and cool down, we can glaze them. And while we wait for our cookies to bake, we will put some cream cheese, some powdered sugar, some vanilla, and some milk into a medium bowl. Actually, that's a large bowl. And mix. Yeah, looks like I might have got it lumpy. Should use confection sugar. This here in and of itself is a portion of the recipe that you need to retain for later instances to put it on as a frosting or anything on top of many desserts, because this here is basically unflavored. It's just a cream cheese frosting that'll go over just about anything. I plan on using the same thing later with a little lemon zest for a lemon cookie that I'm going to be making later. So the 4 ingredients: the cream cheese, the vanilla, the sugar, and the milk. Very easy, really quick, and very versatile. So for this particular recipe and this particular day. We've got more frosting than we need. And if you don't have bags to do your frosting with, you can use Ziploc bags and just cut off the corner, which is what we're going to do because I don't feel like getting it all out and having to clean it all back up. And this is just another way to do that. But the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm only going to use a portion of it because I want to store the rest of it for later, for the next recipe. So we got the majority of it going in the storage bag, and the other one will be going into the other bag. And that's completely off camera, so you can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, so that one is our storage. Open your bag, shove it in the cup, bring the sides down. And pour it in. Of course, this is not frosting that you can make your flowers and stuff with because it's way too runny. That's something that we'll have to go over later because this is just a glaze. And there we go. We have one for now and one for later. And in the meantime, our cookies came out of the oven. We're going to leave them on the parchment paper so when we drizzle them, they're not completely cooled yet, but they're getting close. Those are some pretty good sized cookies. And here we go with our makeshift frosting bag for those of us that are too lazy, don't have, or don't want to do the extra cleanup. Or do a little drizzle on our pumpkin cookies. There we go. Okay, so maybe it wasn't the most artistic. And here we have our finished product. Cream cheese in the middle of our pumpkin cookie. Looks tasty, doesn't it? Thank you for watching this latest episode of StoveTop-Garage. Hope you try this recipe for yourself. Gourmet cookies. Pumpkin, 'tis the season.